Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, as you can see from the title, we're going to be doing a tier ranking of Scream. This includes Scream 6. So, let's change this real quick to an S. And we'll just do an F instead of peak and ass because I don't like to roll like that. All right. So, Scream looks like we're starting with Scream 6. All right. Now, this isn't going to be a ranking, just going to be a tier list. So, take out of it what you will. Scream 6. This movie was all right. Not the best, but not the worst. I don't know if it sits right in the middle, but as far as a grade, personally, I want to put it at B for now. We'll change it possibly later. And just spoilers, by the way. But like I said, I'll keep it at B for now, but it might drop to C as I put these other movies in there just because. No, let's put it at C right now and I'll sort of explain. The killer reveal was pretty good, but the only really thing about the killer reveal that sort of redeems it and makes it, I would say, good is the fact that it ties into the previous Scream with Scream 5 and it being a whole family ordeal and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, I would say decent movie. Scream 4, it's been a little bit. God, excuse me. It's been a little bit since I've seen Scream 4. My gut instinct wants to put it at B just because it's I would say in my top 3 there are 2 that are going to be better, and it just has a lot to do with the way it looked. It and I don't know if this is like a major thing for some people, but for me, the way it looked, it was like they took Vaseline and just put it all over the camera lens, and that really kind of brought it down a little bit. It was very soft instead of sort of rough around the edges as far as the way that characters looked and stuff like that. But other than that, I really like the plot, how they sort of went back to roots a little bit and talked about updated things during that time period as far as the horror genre goes. But yeah, you know, it's a good movie. Like I said, top 3 for me. All right, original Scream, of course. S. 100% S. Now I say this because it's the original and because it was a very groundbreaking movie. It's sort of, if you're a horror fan, you already know this, but if you're not too familiar with the horror genre, between, I would say, the late to early 90s, but I'll just, for, um, for simpleness, from like 1990 up until Scream, there was very few and far when it comes to horror movies. You had like, really the only movie I can think of off the top of my head would be like Candyman. I think New Nightmare came out in like a 94, something like that. And then you had like Friday the 13th. I think Jason Goes to Hell might have been in 93, 94, around that time. But really, I mean, other than that, there wasn't a lot of horror going on. And I want to say it might have to do with the whole ratings board and stuff like that. I feel like when it comes to the horror genre, if there's a period of time where horror wasn't really booming and at a peak, then it had a lot to do with the ratings and whatnot. But Scream really just brought horror back into the mainstream. It made it funny, it made it meta, and then it influenced a lot of movies to come right after its release with I Know What You Did Last Summer and Valentine and, stuff like that. But yeah, it's a classic in the horror genre, and I mean, it's Wes Craven. You can't really go wrong. Scream 2, now this is where things are going to get a little bit divided with this opinion I have. I would say Scream 2 is, oh man, I'd say it's in the C tier. Now, I would say I like this movie a lot because there's a lot of nostalgia that is around this movie for me personally. This is the one Scream where I've probably seen the most amount of times, oddly enough. And I think it had a lot to do with when I was a kid. I had cable television, obviously, and I had the premium channels, which are, a lot of them are still around today, like, Starz, Showtime, Cinemax, HBO, stuff like that. I had the premium channels. And the premium channels always had like a stretch where they would show the same movie every single day at the same time. Like, 3 or 4 days, they would just show it at the same time. And then there'd be, a couple months, maybe like a month break, 2-month break. And then they would show it again for a 3 to 5 day period. And this movie was one of those movies that kept popping up. And then you had if you guys remember, the on-demand feature where you could go to the on-demand and go to, let's say, just Starz and click on movies and see the catalog of movies that they had, and you could just watch it whenever. So there was also that factor. That's one of the main reasons I like this movie as much as I do. If there was no nostalgia, it'd probably be down here in D, but because of the nostalgia around Scream 2, I have to put it at C. The killer reveal, if you are aware of surroundings and movies and stuff like that, and just sort of, I guess, pay attention, then it's pretty obvious who the killer was, because the character is basically missing for about, I don't know, you don't see him for like 45 minutes on screen. And so it kind of, we'll just say it doesn't help its cause. But yeah, killer reveal, all right. I mean, the whole Mrs. Loomis thing is kind of shady too, because it sort of shows like Gail Weathers being, she's this big reporter and she's very good at her job. And I feel like she should have known what Mrs. Loomis looked like, but it's neither here nor there. It's whatever. But yeah, Scream 2, C tier. What is it? Scream 5? Yeah, Scream 5. I'm gonna put it at A. Scream 5, I liked. I liked that it brought in new characters. It brought in an updated version again of the meta and horror that we are experiencing, but then it also brought back the legacy characters like Sydney, Dewey, and Gale, and I like that a lot. It's sort of, in my eyes, is like taking the original Scream and basically just taking the resolution and updating it to 4K, and that's what it felt like. I liked that it didn't feel like the legacy characters were sidelined. They weren't in it a lot, but the times that they were on screen, it really made it, it made it worth their time that they were on screen. That's really all I can say about it. The killer reveal, kind of bland, if I'm going to be completely honest. The whole boyfriend and then him having a secret girlfriend that is also a killer, like, kind of cool, but at the same time, the whole boyfriend thing, I feel like they got a little too meta when Dewey said in the movie that, you can't trust the love interest whatsoever. And she kind of just, I trust him, but that's what they always say. So, it's all right for a killer reveal. And I also really, I have to mention this, I like that the end of the movie is the same as the ending of the original Scream in Stu Macher's old house where he used to live. I like that a lot, and I liked how they reviewed it. Oh, Scream 3. Oh boy. Scream 3 is a D tier. Now, some people might say it's F, and some people might even say it's as high as an A tier. It's a D tier for me. Not an F, because it is a Scream movie. I gotta give it the respect for that. But Scream 3, I feel like they really leaned in to the whole meta thing. And some people like that. I personally think leaning really far in to meta just doesn't work, in my opinion. It made for some interesting conversations with Gale talking to the woman that portrays Gale Weathers, and so on and so forth. And it just, the killer reveal, so whatever, man. And the fact that he was related to Sydney, it's just like, okay, I guess, but nothing. This movie, it doesn't do anything for me whatsoever. Now that I think about it, oh yeah, the beginning of the movie was Cotton Weary getting killed. And then there's the big elephant in the room of this movie, which is the voice changer. Very interesting for them to do something like that. I feel like it's a little too much. The fact that the killer can basically sound like anyone they want through the phone, and then just them saying some horrific shit to Cotton's wife, and then him going and playing Cotton's voice. Like, this movie sucks, man. There's no way around it. It's not good. But yeah, that's my tier list. Scream, the original, obviously the best. Scream 5, Scream 4, Scream 6, 2, and 3 sitting at the bottom. Comment down below. Tell me what your tier list is, because I'm really interested to see if there's any similarities or if there's major differences between, because I'm sure some people think Scream 3 is S tier. But yeah, comment down below what your tier list would be. I hope you guys enjoy these tier list videos. I like making them because I can talk about movies and just have a good time ranking stuff. It's always fun. It's a fun little game to play. But if you guys like this video, I would really appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button. We are slowly reaching 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy to think about. And if you really like my content, consider subscribing. You don't have to. And I will see you guys in the next video.